Hey athletes, what's going on? Brand Showman here, physical therapist and performance coach. Get your fix physical therapy, get your fix nutrition, CrossFit trainer, and a running technique specialist. Wanted to talk today. I've been working with some athletes with talking to me about nausea, and I've been seeing a lot of posts on some Facebook groups recently about the same thing, getting nauseous with training, after training, that sort of thing. So I want to hop on here and kind of talk about one thing that I've noticed with myself when it comes to training, developing nausea, as well as some has also been an issue with some of my athletes, and that has to do with electrolytes. So our body needs electrolytes in order to function. So common ones are going to be your calcium, sodium, magnesium, potassium, and they're just for cell function. These are needed. So when we get in an imbalance, a lot of crazy things can happen with the body. Common ones are going to be your muscle cramps, your muscles just kind of shutting down, increased fatigue, that sort of thing. Sometimes the lightheadedness, dizziness, things like that can happen. But sometimes what happens, hey Ray, nice to see you. Sometimes what happens is a nausea can develop as well. So give you a good example with me. How I discovered this years ago. I actually wasn't even training. I was just at a Con Ed course all weekend, drinking a ton of water all weekend, and just wasn't replacing, sodium, electrolytes, everything like that, just throughout everything I'd been doing. That night, I was actually heading home. I was at the airport, started getting nauseous, dry heaves, everything like that. Got some ginger ale, that didn't help any. Ended up getting a Gatorade because I was in the airport. There's not many options. I don't normally recommend Gatorade because the other chemicals that are in it, but got that, solved the problem. And so I had thought about that as far as the electrolytes go. And then another time kind of happened, got some better electrolytes in me because I was at home, and immediately went away. So it got me to realize that as far as my body's response, if I get off with electrolytes, I can develop this nausea. I've also worked with some of my runners who have the same issue. We're having some nausea during training runs. Once it got up to a certain mileage, we increased our electrolytes a little bit rather than just taking in water, and that solved the problem for them as well. So it's something to think about. It's not going to be the cure-all for everybody as far as the nausea goes, because it can come down to other factors with nutrition, but it's something to think about, or something at least to test out. If you get nausea with your triathlon training, your marathon training, any race, CrossFit training, you name it. If you get nausea during that, can't hurt to at least test out the electrolytes. It's not going to hurt you any, even if that doesn't solve the problem. Getting the electrolytes in your system is never a bad thing. So I'd say if you, as a kind of first step, if you do develop nausea with your training, after your training, that sort of thing, get some more electrolytes in you, see what that does. If it fixes it, awesome. If not, we can go on to step 2. So let me know your thoughts on this. Any feedback, questions, comments. If you've noticed this issue before and the electrolytes worked for you, awesome. If you're dealing with nausea and aren't sure what's going on, I would definitely love to hear about that as well. And as usual, if you have any specific questions, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook Messenger. I'd be happy to have a conversation with you. Hope you're having an amazing Monday, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hey, Joanne.